Blade Runner, a 1982 movie by director Ridley Scott, imagines a grimy, polluted Los Angeles of the future. The film is adapted from Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, a novel by the brilliant, paranoid writer Philip K. Dick. Recurrent themes span Dick's fictions. What is real? What is the boundary between the organic and the synthetic? How can we be sure that our experiences and thoughts are authentic and are indeed our own? His story Minority Report posited a law enforcement system based upon the precognition of crime, seeing criminal intent before a crime had actually happened. What then was the reality of guilt? If a criminal was prevented from committing a crime, could society still punish the criminal? His We Can Remember It For You Wholesale was adapted for film as Total Recall, the premise being that memories could be bought and sold, and individuals could live entire lives via implanted experiences. And his The Man in the High Castle posited an alternate universe in which Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan won the Second World War and divided up an occupied United States between themselves. As the Nazi and Japanese regimes prepared to fight each other 20 years after the war's end, key figures on both sides are shown a glimpse of one, or many, alternate realities. Dick's most influential work, though, is 1968's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, the source text for Blade Runner. The novel posits a near future where Earth's habitat has been significantly degraded by war and pollution. The toxic environment causes the mental and physical deterioration of those who still live on Earth, who succumb to the progressive diminishment of their faculties. The population is encouraged to migrate off-planet to Earth's new colonies, with cleaner air and the provision, one per migrant, of synthetic helpers to assist with daily life. These synthetic beings had been developed to fight humankind's internecine wars and were at first dubbed synthetic freedom fighters. Repurposed as slaves after the wars, government propaganda says the arrangement recalls, quote, the halcyon days of the pre-Civil War southern states. On Earth, natural life is failing, with deteriorating humans and a decreasing number of surviving animals. These remaining animals are bought and sold at extravagant prices, and their numbers are supplemented by manufactured animals, kept as pets by the population for purposes of morale. A patina of artificiality settles over all of life. In the twilight of their existence on their home planet, humans are having trouble distinguishing the real from the synthetic. Amidst this grime, the bounty hunter Rick Deckard is charged with hunting down androids who've illegally escaped their off-world masters and infiltrated Earth, from which they are banned. His job is complicated and troubling. The most advanced replicants are indistinguishable in appearance and intelligence from people. Indeed, they are cognitively superior to much of the deteriorated remnants of humanity left on Earth. There are only two tells. Replicants cannot consistently mimic human empathy towards other living creatures, and they have a limited 4-year lifespan. Deckard's days consist of following up on leads on suspected replicants, administering to them the Voigtkampf empathy test, a battery of questions designed to probe the humanity or otherwise of the subject. It's horrifying work. Sometimes the synthetic beings do not know they're not human. Sometimes they try and kill Deckard before he can discover their true nature. When Ridley Scott, fresh from directing Alien, moved to adapt Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, the first thing he changed was the title. Notably, the words Blade Runner, the title of the film, and of Rick Deckard's job, do not appear anywhere in the source novel. As he had in Alien, Scott set out to create a realistic science fiction, a future world that looked like people lived and worked in it, rather than the gleaming and pristine futures imagined in 60s TV series like Star Trek and movies like 2001. Scott created a Los Angeles of the future that looked broken down and old. And he changed Dick's novel of existential rumination into a movie structured at least on the surface, as a neo-noir detective story. But Scott retained and even deepened the uncomfortable question at the core of Dick's novel. What are the distinguishing characteristics of something that is alive? What beings have rights, an agency, and even a soul, and who gets to decide that? Does an artificial being feel its death less keenly than an organic being? As Rutger Hauer's character Roy Batty, a replicant hunted by Deckard, puts it in a famous, partly improvised speech in the movie, "I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. All these moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain." Batty's experiences exceed those of the degraded humans in this dark future. He, a replicant, fights their wars for them. He explores the frontiers they lack the energy to chart. It is he, a replicant, who is engaged in the struggle for dignity that has characterized human history. Is he not more alive than the real people of this world? The movie challenges us with this. Is Batty's loss, the loss of memories and feelings and consciousness, the loss of knowing that one's time is up and that there is nothing after death, is that loss not a tragedy? Dick's novel asked, do androids dream of electric sheep? Ridley Scott's movie asks, do artificial beings have a soul?